there, my name is Brittany and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to create your very own font using the iPad. In this video, I'll not only show you how to create and upload your own font for selling, but I'll also share with you some of my best tips and tricks for creating a clean and consistent handwriting font, in addition to sharing a little bit of copyright info and giving a mini typography template lesson along the way. So if you're ready for a quick yet efficient lesson, smash the like button, grab your Apple Pencil and your iPad, and let's jump right into the video. For your convenience, I've left timestamps in the description box below so that you can navigate to different sections of the video as needed. Fonts, the face of typography. They single-handedly harness the power to invoke emotional responses and even sway our decisions, which is a pretty important factor if you're trying to develop a cohesive brand identity, offer completely customized products, or communicate a specific message to a specific audience, which is exactly why you should create your very own font, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do today. Let me just quickly disclose two really cool perks about publishing your own font. One, it allows you to leverage a level of uniqueness and individuality in your brand, your art, and/or your products. And two, it's a great way to start setting up a stream of passive income. But more on that in a future video. Before we get started, we're going to need the following tools. An iPad and Apple Pencil. I'll be using my iPad Series 7 and my first generation Apple Pencil. Keep in mind that this can also be done using traditional pen and paper. However, you will need a few additional resources such as a printer and a scanner or smartphone. I'll go ahead and highlight the pen and paper process in text below as we move through the video. Next, we'll need to make sure that we're using a Safari browser, simply because it makes the process hassle-free when downloading the templates. We'll also need a font installer app. I'll be using the iPhone app, which is free in the App Store. Finally, we'll need a drawing or sketching app that will allow us to use layers. I'll be using the Procreate app, which is my go-to platform for creating all things digital art related. However, there are free alternatives such as Autodesk Sketchbook. Just make sure that the drawing app you choose allows you to utilize layers and export your finished work. To get started, we're going to open our Safari browser and visit the website Calligrapher. That's Calligrapher without the E. You'll first need to create an account and verify your email, and once that's done, you'll notice this menu here that's going to allow us to build a custom template based on the letters and arbitrary characters that we want to include in our font. Keep in mind that the free version of Calligrapher will only allow up to 75 characters for your font. On the other hand, the paid version, which starts as low as $8 per month with no contracts, will allow for unlimited characters. Go ahead and build your template based on your preferences. I typically include the minimal English alphabet and basic Latin arbitrary characters. Once you've built your template, you'll want to select Download Template, which will bring up this pop-up menu where you can set your download preferences. Here, you can select your file format and choose to opt in on having the help lines and background characters appear in light gray on your template. Since I'm using Procreate, I'll opt to download my template as a PNG file, as PNGs tend to work seamlessly in Procreate. Once you've got your template preferences together, select Download, then tap on the PDF or zip file that appears and confirm by clicking download once more. Now you can X out of the pop-up menu and select your download icon next to the browser search bar where you should see your blank templates. When you tap on the download, it should route you to your downloaded files where you'll notice your PDF templates or your PNG zip file, which you can tap to unzip. Now you should see the file folder containing your blank templates, which will consist of one or more pages. There are numerous ways to export your template and get it into your sketching app, but probably the most easy way to do so is to select template 1 from your downloads and then click the export icon at the top right of the screen where you can save the template as an image to your camera roll or export it directly into Procreate. Do the same for template 2. Or you can go directly into Procreate and import the template via photos or files. Now, time for the fun part. Once you've got your template pulled up in Procreate, the very first thing I want to do is to add a new layer. Select the layers icon next to the color picker and tap the plus sign to add a new layer. Adding a new layer will ensure that if we make a mistake while creating our font, that we are non-destructive with our template. If you're not familiar with how layers work, just think of it like this. Our template is our foundation, our base page at the bottom of our paper stack. As we add layers, we're essentially adding transparent pages, almost like tracing paper, on top of our template, which is serving as our reference page. Before we start illustrating our font, let's make sure that we have our pen color set to true black. To do this, simply open your color panel and double tap at the bottom of the color wheel right about 6 o'clock. If you'd like to see me dive a little deeper into a Procreate tutorial, consider subscribing to my channel. I have many videos planned including Procreate tips, tricks, shortcuts, digital sticker making, and so much more. Another consideration you'll want to make before designing your font is the type of brush that you'll use. My personal favorite is the monoline brush, found in the calligraphy section. One of my favorite things about designing a font digitally is the ability to change the tip of your brush or brush type and play around with the weight of your brush. It's also really helpful to play with and adjust the streamline setting of the brush, which can reduce jitter and result in super clean line work. Play around with the different types of brushes, weights, and settings until you're completely satisfied and ready to illustrate. From here, the process is simple. Illustrate each character inside the box as indicated, being mindful of your desired letter spacing and line heights. If you opted for help lines on your template, you'll notice these light gray lines which serve as helpful guidelines for your font's features. To elaborate just a little further and help you take your font to the next level, I'd like to give you a quick, self-taught typography template lesson. Let's take a quick look at what each of these lines represent, starting with the X height. The X height is the distance between the baseline and the mean line of lowercase letters. Simply put, it's the height of the lowercase letter x, which also happens to determine the measurement of that specific typeface. The baseline is the imaginary line or axis on which each character rests. The help lines on our template show the baseline as represented by line 3 on my graphic. The cap height is the height of an uppercase alphabetic character extending above the baseline. It's the distance from the baseline to the top of most non-rounded characters and is represented by line 5 in my graphic. An ascender is the portion of the lowercase alphabetic character that extends beyond that letter's X height. For example, the lowercase letter h has an ascender which can be found extending beyond the X height and up to the ascender line, which is represented by line 2 in my graphic. On the other hand, a descender is part of an alphabetic character that drops below the baseline, as found in letters like Y or P. The horizontal line indicating the reference point for letters containing a descender can be found as represented by line 4 in my graphic. So that concludes our mini typography template lesson, and now that we have a better understanding of what each of these help lines represent, it should help us in building the most clean, persistent, finished font possible. From here, the process is simple. Illustrate each character inside the box as indicated on the template, being mindful of your desired letter spacing and line height. When you've completed your font characters, scan through your templates and make sure that you have only the layers selected that you want to appear in your finished font. For me, this means double checking and making sure that I have hidden any layers that I use for guides, help lines, and tracing, and ensuring that only the layers that I want to appear in my finished font are currently visible. Before moving on to the next step, I like to take a quick second to exit out of the template and rename it. Feel free to skip this step if you desire, however, it has proven very helpful to me in keeping organized. Do this for each of your templates. Once you've reviewed and self-approved your templates, tap the wrench icon and select Share. From here, you can save the image to your camera roll or save to files. Do this for each of your templates. Once you've got your finished font saved to your iPad, you'll need to jump back to calligrapher.com to upload and convert your file into a finished font. To do so, tap Upload Template and select each file or image containing your finished font templates. Once you have all of your templates selected, tap Upload Template. Here, you'll be able to view the results of your font and delete any unwanted characters from your font completely. When you're fully satisfied, select Add Characters to Font. You can tap on any of the individual characters to make any edits or adjustments as necessary, as well as copy characters, add variants to your font, and so on. One final consideration you'll want to make before finalizing or building your font is filling out the font metadata, which serves as sort of an underwritten signature to your font and appears in your finished font's written description. To fill out your font metadata, select Edit Font Details. Unfortunately, you can only add metadata to your font with the paid version of Calligrapher, but definitely consider making the investment if you plan on selling your font or listing it as a demo to a paid version in any online platforms. Some of the information that I like to include in my font metadata includes my full name and/or business name, a copyright statement, terms of use or usage rights, and my email address, just to have a means of contact for inquiries regarding commercial or promotional usage rights. Now we're ready to finalize and convert our font into a finished file. Tap Build Font to name your font if not already done, and tap Build once more to initiate the conversion. Here you can preview your font and tap on the TTF and OTF files to download your finished font. If you plan to use your font for note-taking or digital planning using apps such as GoodNotes, you'll want to properly install the font on your iPad using the iFont app or other font installer app. This method will also work for installing free fonts downloaded from sites such as thefont.com. To install your font, open up your font installer app and select Import. This should open a menu where you can access your downloads and select either the TTF or OTF font file. Now the font file will show in this menu here on the left-hand side, and you'll want to tap Install. It'll ask your permission to install the font, so tap Allow to proceed. Next, you'll exit the iFont app and go directly to your iPad settings and tap Profile Downloaded, which can be found beneath your Apple ID photo. Now you should see the titled font profile and can tap Install to start the process. You'll need to enter your iPad passcode to proceed, and you'll likely get a message stating that the profile is not signed. This message is always present in my personal experience, however, has no bearing on the performance of my font or my iPad whatsoever. Tap Install 2 more times to complete the process, and that's it. Congratulations on your new font. You can now open up apps such as GoodNotes and type text using your very own font, which is one of the most rewarding feelings ever. Don't forget to spread the word about your new achievement and drop a comment below with the name of your font and where it can be found. If you stayed till the end of this video, drop the hashtag Fontastic below and feel free to connect with me on Instagram at digital.planner.co. The spelling is on the screen. Before you go, let me give you some of my best font making tips. Number 1, define your target audience. Before creating your font, brainstorm who your target audience will be. Think about the type of emotions and feelings you want your audience to experience when using your font and get creative bringing those emotions to life through the details of your font. Number 2, utilize your layers. Utilizing a new layer for each character helps the font creation and editing process go pretty smoothly. Since there's typically a cap on the amount of layers that you can utilize per canvas, if you run out of layers, go back and merge any layers together that contain characters that you're 100% satisfied with. That'll free up any other layers that you can then utilize to complete the design process. Repeat as needed. Number 3, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reduce your amount of work by reusing and recycling character attributes. For example, when creating a straight line for your exclamation point, you can actually duplicate that layer and then manipulate its angular position to build your character. You can duplicate layers as necessary to build your characters and then merge those individual layers once you're satisfied. Not only does it reduce your work, but it also allows for consistency throughout the typeface. If I had any final tips for creating your own font, I would suggest staying true to your own unique style. Keep it interesting, original, and uniquely you to stand apart from the crowd. With that being said, I wish you all the best in your font creation process. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe with notifications to be notified when my next video goes live. Thank you so much for watching, stay blessed, stay kind, and happy creating.